Welcome. Okay, welcome everyone. Just to make sure I'm not speaking to myself, could you please confirm by chat if you can hear me and then you can see my screen as well? Welcome. Thank you. I see that feedback. I see the feedback. All right, cool. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Emigrate Open Day. At Emigrate, we focus on tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. In other words, we talk about tech-enabled visa opportunities. This edition of Emigrate Open Day, we will be we have our guest in the house already, Funto Akinbisehin, who will be sharing with us about her journey, inspiring our community and also informing our community. We would have a time for question and answer towards the end of the session. And if possible, we'll have a few sessions of open consultation as well. Open consultation for us in Emigrate Open Day is where you can actually come on the spotlight on video as well, and you can ask specific questions concerning you, and we will be able to give feedback and give you some answer based on our experience and information available to us. But the main focus for this edition is we'll be hearing from Funto, who will be sharing about our journey, particularly around the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology, which we call the Tech Nation Visa. I would mention that we've been having Emigrate Open Day for at least twice a month for most of this year. We have many videos of these editions that are available, and please avail yourself of the opportunity. Many of our guests with different countries of the world have acknowledged as them being exceptional, them being globally attractive. They've shared their story. They've given you some tips as to some things that you can do. Some people, America, North America, Canada, US, and several others have shared as regards different visa types and some of the things that you can do today towards those visa types, depending on if you are a beginner in the field, you're at intermediate level, or you're at expert level. On this is also a bunch of countries who have different opportunities for people in technology. They're asking them to come to their economy, not because they are doing you a favor, but because they want you to come to build their economy, to pay taxes in their economy, to help them to build what they are doing, for you to create job in their economy, for you to build your startup, your innovation in their economy, and so on. And this is what we're saying, that these opportunities are existing, are available. It's up to you to make use of it as much as possible. A couple of months ago, October specifically, there were a number of changes in the Tech Nation visa route, and please check on the site for you to be aware of some of these changes. We focused on some of those changes during the October Open Day, and you can also go watch the video around that specific Open Day. One of the major ones that may concern a number of people in our community is, before now, it used to say you needed 2 examples of innovation as exceptional promise. Now the wording has changed to you just need at least 1 example of innovation, meaning 1 example is enough now for you to show that you are exceptional promise in the route for Tech Nation. But what is Emigrate? For us, Emigrate is designed to help you become globally attractive. And there are 2 ways. You can either have a globally attractive tech profile, or you can have a globally attractive tech-enabled business, usually a startup. But something we say in Emigrate is that we want you to see the visa only as a side effect of a bigger objective. The bigger objective is that you being globally attractive, you will have options all over the world. You can choose to stay in whatever your own country is, usually in Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, wherever your own country is. You can choose to stay there and add value. You can choose to go anywhere in the world. You can choose to work remotely. It's up to you. Yes, we know many of us came in because we're interested in one visa type or the other, but please realize that these visas are not because they are trying to do you a favor. It's because they are looking for people who are exceptional, and they are looking for people who are actually globally attractive, whether it's you as an individual, looking at your CV, looking at the things you've accomplished as an individual, or if you built a startup or you're a part of a startup, your startup and the value and the traction that your startup has. For us at Emigrate, we have a bunch of services, many of them that are free, some of them that are paid. And our services covers things like information session. We're having one of such today where our guest is going to be sharing more information about a particular visa type and also sharing about our journey. It's also inspiration as well, because we realize that many people do not even see that when they say exceptional talent, it could actually be me that they are talking about. We also do coaching and handholding, helping you to be able to get to where you want to go, helping in terms of your own specific goals. We also help with preliminary assessment. If you need help with your technician visa endorsement application, for example, you can speak with us. And we do have a bunch of services that are free as well that you can actually use. So in terms of the services, some of the things we have under the free side include information and inspiration. We have the Emigrate community, which is a free community. And then we have the monthly open day, which we've been doing at least 2 open days every month in the last few months. We have introductory videos where if there's a specific visa type you're interested in, it is likely that we've had a guest or the other who has gone through that route that can give you more information about that specific visa type. We do the Emigrate Open consultation where you can come on stage, ask questions, and other people can learn from your question, but then you get specific answer to your own specific question. Recently, we started the Technician Visa Ambassador Officer that holds every Tuesday for the rest of this year, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. GMT UK time. And so that is going on. And we do have short inquiry sessions as well. For now, we are only able to do 1 short inquiry session per person. So we would ask that please, before you book a short inquiry session, make sure that you have already gotten all the information possible that is in public domain. What we are expecting you to come in to ask, if you are speaking with one of our Emigrate coaches, is something that was not already covered or something that may have been confusing to you, something that you need clarification on. Don't come to those sessions and say, what visa is available to me? Don't waste your time and the coach's time as well, asking such questions that you could easily have gotten the answer to in public domain. In the premium side, we have the Emigrate Circle, which is, it's usually an annual membership. And these are for people that are now on the track and then need, are more serious in terms of what it is that they are trying to do, and also need more help in terms of just a community of other people committed to a journey of becoming globally attractive and thereby getting access to some of these visa types that are available. We do have personalized coaching sessions. We have the Emigrate Standard package, and then we have the Emigrate Premium service. With the Premium service, it's a 1 to 2 year journey where, based on wherever you are at this moment, we can handhold you over a period of time to build your profile to become globally attractive and thereby qualifying for some of these visa types that we speak about in the Emigrate community. Today, we'll be speaking around the Technician visa. Emigrate community, currently we're on WhatsApp and Telegram, but moving forward in November, we're actually going to be launching the community on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. We would like to encourage you to engage with Emigrate. We are unable to keep the community open throughout the 24/7 at the moment. So we open it up for conversation and engagement from time to time. And we ask that please take advantage of that. There are different Emigrate coaches are in the community that can answer questions briefly. But in addition, you can also interact with other people who are on the same journey as you are. That is part of what we're trying to build in Emigrate. We also ask that you like and share and comment and share with people around some of these opportunities that do exist. It will surprise you how many people do not know about these opportunities. And so we ask, even as this session is going on, is there someone that you think about that you know that may need this information? Maybe the person is in tech, maybe the person is trying to get into tech. We ask that invite them to this session, let them hear from themselves. And sometimes just that seed, that information itself may take them to the next level that they are trying to get to themselves. In terms of Emigrate, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Bade Adeshamo, CTO and co-founder of Social Lender, amongst many other things as well. But in terms of Emigrate, Emigrate is a service of a company called Bincom Dev Center, and Bincom Dev Center has a few other services as well that may be of interest to you. I will speak about a few of them. One of them is the Bincom Global Tech Program. It's a 1 to 2 year program as well. And what it does is it helps you with 3 key pillars in the field of technology. The first is for you to learn skills, then you gain experience and gain exposure in the field of technology. We have different learning tracks, including PHP, Python, project management, project and product management, infrastructure and DevOps. And in January 2022, we will be starting a new track, which is the QA and testing track in the Bincom Global Tech Program. Regardless of what track you choose, it's the same framework, which is you learn the skills, you gain experience and gain exposure in the field of tech. The program is structured in such a way that it is attractive for you if you're a beginner and you're just starting from the beginning, the foundation level, you learn all the skills that you need, and then you start gaining the right experience in the field. It's also attractive to you if you already have the skill and what you are lacking is experience and exposure, because those things are also important. You can't get the attractive roles that you are looking for if you don't have the right experience on the get-go, because organizations, whether in your own country or abroad, they are looking for people that can add value on the get-go, not people that are coming to learn on the job. And these opportunities are available to you as well. The cost of the program is 1.2 million naira. However, the company is able to invest in you to say you can learn tech now and pay later. What that means is that you would only start paying the fees when you've graduated and you started earning high income in the field of technology. To get more attractive, this particular program also covers the Emigrate Premium that I mentioned, which is the 1 to 2 year handholding around tech-enabled visa opportunities. If you're interested in this, go to bincom.net/globaltech to indicate interest, and then we'll take it from there. Another service that we have is the Bincom Mentoring Platform, and this is for people who already have many years of experience in the field of technology. One of the things that you'll find out is one of the ways you can show that you are globally attractive is by you mentoring other people. But for example, the Tech Nation visa will tell you that they don't want you to mentor informally. It has to be a formal mentoring platform where they can actually see evidence of your mentoring. They can see what you've done. And this is the platform that Bincom has available. And we encourage you to sign up, mentor a few people, and that also helps your own profile as well. The Bincom mentoring platform is available and you can register as a mentor if you have many years of experience in tech, because there are other people that are trying to get into tech that you can handle and bring up in the field of technology as well. I'll speak about one more service before I hand over to our guest, which is the Labs by Bincom. And Labs by Bincom helps you to build a startup from scratch with your team. If you're interested in that, go to bincom.net/labs. And what it is a 3 to 6 months program where you will also be trained in terms of building a startup. But the key caveat here is that whatever it is that you build has to be used by real life users. So it can't be something that you build that will be in local host or you build and it's just in your GitHub repository. The output required of you in Labs by Bincom is something that will be used by real life users. And it's a pre-incubator program. If you're interested in that, it's only available to people on different paid programs in Bincom Dev Center. And so, for example, if you're a member of the Emigrate Circle, it's available to you for you to register, join a team. You don't have to quit your your full-time job for you to be able to join a team to build a startup. And the key point is that by the end of that 3 to 6 months process, you would have a startup, a product-led digital technology company in your portfolio that is part of the things that you've done. And one of the things you'll find out is this is part of what Technician, for example, is looking out for to see whether or not your tech profile is globally attractive. For us, Emigrate started as us trying to solve a problem. And the problem we're trying to solve was simply that many people in our own ecosystem did not realize that they could build their career to a certain level. It could be because of how economy and several other things have dealt with people's mindsets. But the key point is that it's very interesting how people don't realize that, oh, if I actually prepare myself for this opportunity, it would be mine, right? Because opportunity would just meet your preparation. But some other people, even though they are aware, are not even convinced that, oh, this is something for me. Some people do not realize that, oh, with just a little bit of push, a little bit of packaging, a little bit of more learning, a little bit of more exposure, and so on. This would be me, because they are the ones that these people are looking for. When they say exceptional talent, they are not asking you to have won a Nobel Prize. They are just asking you to be top of your field in the field of technology. And this is not impossible to do. But the question is, are you able to prepare for it? And so that's why Emigrate as a community started, focusing on tech-enabled visa opportunities. But the big picture is we would like to see your profile as globally attractive. And so we are helping with information, coaching, handholding, strategy, consultation, advisory, and even a community to help build this. For us, Emigrate eventually will become a startup of its own that is able to focus on bringing Emigrate coaches with people, members of the Emigrate community that need it. So we have coaches from Germany that are familiar with the German visas, and we had somebody speak around that during the last Emigrate Open Day. We have coaches from North America and so on, who are able to handhold you and show you, give you direction. Nobody can promise you a visa, right? But we can show you the principles and the concept and the requirement, and also the things that you need to do and the way that you need to be for you to be able to meet the requirement for those specific visa types. Some people get refused, not because they don't qualify. Some people get refused because they just did not apply correctly. And we do some of that in Emigrate, where we help with endorsement review. And by the grace of God, they get the endorsement eventually with Technician visa, because it wasn't that they didn't qualify, it was because they didn't package the application in the correct way. These are some of the things that we're able to solve with Emigrate. I've spoken longer than the time allotted to me. And so I would just say, for some people, this slide is something you probably want to take a screenshot of, because this gives you an idea of some of the visa types and that are available today for you because you are in the field of technology, right? You can take a screenshot, Google some of these visa types, take a look at the requirement, and then look at some of them that you can say, oh, can I prepare for this, and so on. That being said, depending on the visa that you're targeting, depending on the country that you're targeting, it will determine, how long it will take to get there. It will also depend on some of the things that you've already done in the past, because some people have done things in the past that actually qualify. They just may not realize that those are the things that are being required of them at this point. As I said before, if you're joining now, please tell a friend to say that this is going on. If you know someone in the field of technology that may not be aware of some of these things that are available, tell them that this is going on right now. Let them join this session. Let them join Emigrate community, because that's what we are focusing on, informing people about tech-enabled visa opportunities that are available for relocation and settlement. So that being said, I would like to welcome our guest, who is already in the room and is ready to just share with the community about her journey, about some of these things that are available. Tell them that this is going on right now. Let them join this session. Let them join the community, because apologies for that. Yeah, so I was saying that Yes, our guest is in the room and she's going to be sharing with us our own experience. She'll be sharing with us some of the information around these visas that we're talking about. She'll be sharing with us some of the things that we can do to qualify, and then we'll be interacting with her with questions as well right after that. I would say that if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We will start with questions in the chat and questions that came from the community before we take additional questions as well. So if you have questions as our guest is sharing, please drop them in the chat and we'll take the questions at that point. So Funto, welcome again. Thank you so much for joining the community and thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Over to you.
All right. Hi, thank you so much, Bade. Thanks for having me here. And it's a great thing to share, what's this good thing with other people. And that way we get as many talents, because I know we have quite a number of talents all over the world, especially Africa. And considering the way things are, it's always a good thing when you can get out and just be yourself and thrive in this kind of economy as well. So thanks again. I'll talk a bit about myself. I'm a product manager. I've been a product manager for, I don't even know how long, but I'll say that I started my career as a product manager when I worked in Konga. It's an online shopping mall. For people that are familiar with that, I was one of the first product managers to join the organization, and we built the seller platform. I led that team in building out the seller platform. And in doing that, we were able to bring in a revenue of about $450,000 or million, I can't even remember now, like so much money within 2013 and 2014 while I was there. And we had over 1 million live products on the platform. It was just a great thing. And that's how my love for products became solidified. I worked really closely then with the CEO, Sim. He's a great teacher, and I learned a lot from him. And I'll say that after that, I also started to I run a product community, Product Manager Africa, where I help to mentor and coach product managers to be better at what they do. Also because I know that there's so many opportunities out there. So in the course of my PM Africa journey, someone just posted on WhatsApp that, oh, have you heard about Technation Visa? I had never heard about it, right? So I then did further research and I'm like, sometimes you don't qualify for this thing, forget it. So I just dropped it for a while. So I came across it, first of all, I'll say sometime in 2019. And in June, so yeah, over 2 years ago. But I dropped it, I'm like, I'm not qualified, I'm not going to get it. But somehow I went back again and I took a look at it. I saw that there were 2 tracks, the Exceptional Promise for emerging or those new in the technology space. So we have people like engineers, product managers, data scientists, digital marketing. There were so many things. And then there was also the leader who had experience. They were experienced people. And I knew that I qualified more for experience because I had been doing product for a while and it wasn't new to me. So I knew that, okay, if I want to give this a go, let me try and see what this is about. So I remember my brother was coming home. He lives in the UK. And I said, oh, please, when you're coming, can you help me to print this Technation thing? Because the printer in my house is not working and I don't want to buy a toner. So he bought, and I think we had already started working remotely or something like that. So I just couldn't print it in the office. And I don't want my manager to see it anyway, so I didn't print it in the office. So I then asked my brother to print it for me, and then he brought it. And it became in quotes, my Bible, because I started highlighting things. What did I have? What did I not have? And one of the first things I did was to create a Trello board. If you're familiar, a Trello board is like just a board where you can, it has swim lanes where you can just put your whatever thoughts it's a board anyway that people use. You can use it in what we call delivery, as a delivery board to monitor movement of maybe if you're building software. It's like similar to Jira, but it's more of a drag and drop kind of platform. So I split it into the different things. Okay, what do I have? What do I not have? And so I then said, okay, if I do not have, so one of the things I didn't have was that they said, was I a mentor? I remember Bade was saying something about you. It's not about mentoring one or two people. It's about mentoring people. So I had done a lot of research as well, looking at people that had gotten it. They actually there's one guy called Presidential Hustle or something like that. And the guy has a YouTube channel where he talks about coding and, just basically trying to mentor people on that platform. And I didn't have that platform. So I said, Funto, you need to do something about it. But at that time, what helped me was that, if you remember, I said that I had built a community, Product Manager Africa. And in building that community, because all I would do then was just invite guests, they come and speak, invite another guest, they speak. I started building that, not knowing that I was building myself up for this Tech Nation visa. But when I found out that, okay, they wanted me to start mentoring, I said, okay, what can I do? So I started having mentoring sessions. I started to also invite real tech leaders as well. So I became more deliberate. I got tech leaders from Amazon, from Silicon Valley, from Google, from Facebook. I started getting those kind of people on my platform. And I also started to involve myself in product schools. So I actually got myself invited to speak in product schools. I started to teach there. I became a faculty member. I was on their website as someone that teaches in their product school. I had letters of invitation and all that. And then I also started to speak at tech events. So I was invited to some tech events. There was a big one that happened. I can't remember the name, Tech Plus or something like that. They're quite big. I got invited to be a moderator, and it was on YouTube. So it was huge. There were over 1,000 people there. So those were the things I started doing. And then I hosted a World Product Day event in 2020. So it was something that had never been done before by an African community. It's usually done by product communities abroad who want to then have something in Nigeria. But nobody in Nigeria has ever organized anything of that magnitude. So I took it upon myself. I got a lot of speakers from Africa because my focus was Africa. So I got a lot of speakers. They had 10-minute slots. It was so interesting and so engaging. I made sure that I posted it on YouTube. It was live on YouTube. I started to generate views. I would send it to my friends. Please just click on it. Please just click on it, just to show that people were also viewing it, in as much as people were actually saying, please just go and watch it as well. I mean, people were like, Funto, please, I can't watch a 2-hour program because I wasn't there live. But it was on YouTube and I needed to generate views. And then I had to show how I was contributing to the tech space, in my community. And those were the things I was doing. I also started a mentoring growth incubator program where I then allowed them to get internships with companies. I placed them with tech companies. They get 3 months internship so that they can also use that to get a job. And I started it last year, and I'm still doing it. Even though I'm in the UK, I'm still driving Product Manager Africa because it's very dear to me. And that way, it showed that I was adding value. I was contributing to people's lives. I was helping them to get experience, because a lot of people who go to product schools, they just get the knowledge, but they don't know how to apply these things. Because trust me, most of the things that they teach us in product schools, you don't necessarily really use it at work. When you get to your work, the real life scenario, you just have to just do the job. So that was really, really important. Then I also then realized that, okay, the third step was that I had to get letters of support, because those are one of the criteria. If you go through the criteria for the tech visa, you need to have letters of support. So letters of support from all the people that I had worked with, because one of the criteria is that as a product person, what are the products I've built? What are the evidences that I built those products? How has it impacted the company in such a way that it has driven revenue or whatever? Those were the things I had to show. And one of the things they said was that if you have access to financial statements, I didn't have access to financial statements. So that was a bit puzzling for me. But somehow I did a lot of research, and I saw people saying things around, you can use publications. So fortunately for me, Konga was seen as one of the top 10 innovative companies, most especially because of my own product that I built, the seller platform. So it was as if everything was just helping me and aiding my journey. So Fast Company, I don't know if you've heard of Fast Company, they're quite credible in terms of rating innovative companies and talking about tech-related things. So that was something I had to do, that I also had that. So I got letters from my former colleagues at Konga, even though I had left, to verify that when I was in Konga, I did this, that. I got letters from my former boss in Venture Garden Group, from my colleague in Venture Garden Group. I also got one from my boss in eHealth. All the places I had worked, I got support letters from all of them, because I also wanted to make sure that I had to make sure that they had, because a lot of them had changed jobs. Not everybody was still in the organizations anymore. So I asked them to please use their current letterheads. They include their LinkedIn profiles, because their phone numbers, because they were going to probably talk to them and find out truly, did Funto do this or she did not do this? And also I remember that for the, apart from that, that was part of the things I put in my evidences, because you're supposed to submit 10 evidences. What are the 10 evidences, for example? So things around, there was the key criteria, which was recognition of what I'd done outside my job. Then there was also the significant contribution as an employee. How did I contribute to the people I was working with? That was also something that was really important, that I had to show evidence about. So I had to put that together. And my contributions, basically, most of the things I had worked on, it was published online. So I had data to support the impact of the product. I mentioned before about the seller HQ, even the VGPay, it was all there. When I worked in eHealth, I was also part of the team that built an innovative product that actually we got into a innovation challenge, and were awarded the 3rd place and even given $50,000 prize money. So those were things I had that I could show off and say, these are the contributions I have made. Then I also had to get letters from top tech leaders who could provide letters of recommendation, because that is really, really important. And you have to follow up aggressively. Now, it's not easy for people that are tech leaders so these are CEOs, CTOs. Yeah, those are the people that are, and people that maybe venture capitalists, people that are renowned or known for as leaders in that space. I had to kind of draft the letter. I had to put it together, a skeletal piece of paper, of course, praising myself, because I can only praise myself, and also get them to, of course, knowing that they knew I was a star. So they couldn't say, Funto was useless, or she didn't know her job. So they were like, Funto girl, but we went really well. And I was able to get them to, do that for me. And I'll say that, be sure about the people that are doing your recommendation letters. Be sure that they're people that genuinely want to write those letters. Because some people will post you, and eventually their bad vibes will carry you and probably affect you somehow. And you don't want anything to dampen your mood or your morale or your anything about yourself. So if they've said 3 top tech leaders, one can actually write down a list of 10 and you start pruning and saying, this person may not. And I know there's something there about people being, if you had somebody abroad or something, all my endorsers were Nigerians, were in Nigeria, and I didn't have anybody from the UK, from the US. They were all local because I had worked with them and they knew me. So it was something that I did. Then at that time as well, there was something around showing your contribution, your evidence of contribution in terms of working in, evidence of schooling, right? But continuing education.
Continuous learning.
Thank you, something like that. But because of the way people have been adding all sorts of things, I think they've actually scrapped it. I think mine was the last set that was allowed, thankfully, to submit that bit, because after I submitted mine, that was people that submitted after me, that was not part of it. So I was able to showcase the courses I had taken, trainings I had attended, which I was really proud of. And I wanted them to see that I had even taken personal trips abroad myself, self-sponsored, to go to get taught by top leaders in the product space. So I could show that. Then I showed evidences of me teaching in product schools. I showed letters of invitations, letters of gratitude for teaching. I had tweets. I had photos of the invitations, right? Posters, all those things. I had that. Then, in terms of the incubator program, I'm still running, that I ran for the first time last year. Also because of this technician, because I had to be strategic as well. So I had to there was something that we had to put in the papers to talk about it, talking about what we were trying to do. And it was published in 2 national papers, which I also then put as part of the evidence to show that these were things that I was doing to drive community, giving back to the community outside of my work. And so I was able to show them screenshots of the members of my community. I had community on Twitter. There was, at that time we were on WhatsApp, but I've closed the WhatsApp group because we were just too much. And people were asking me that, Funto, we need to move to Telegram, but I didn't particularly like Telegram. So I moved everyone to Slack. And we have close to 1,500 members. I also have on Meetup, another about 1,500 members as well. But at that time, it was just growing. Maybe overall, everybody together was just about 1,000. But now we're about 3,000, which is great. So it's almost doubled since the last time I applied. And basically, I then engaged a consultant as well, because I wanted someone that could help me to look through with an eagle eye all the things I had to put together. And finally, I had to put together my personal statement. That personal statement is only you that can write your personal statement, because it is personal to you. And it's something that you have to write in such a way that whoever is reading your personal statement, you try and get to that person, and the person will say, this is the right person for this visa. So my personal statement was personal to me. And I mean, that's something that you also have to really write. So it says something about, it's 1,000 words maximum. You can't do more than 1,000 words. Even the platform you're going to submit it on, it won't allow you to do more than 1,000 words. You have to talk about why you're coming to the UK, what you'll be doing when you get there, how you're going to ensure that you add value, basically, in terms of, and where. So I talked about what I was going to do, how I was going to be a product manager, I was going to work in a tech company, I was going to even product manager Africa as well. I was going to try and also come and help the Black community, the ethnic minority in the UK. I'm going to try and also start to teach product management, inspire people, because the ethnic minority here also, they don't really have a lot of examples of successful leaders. And there's a statement that I make that, there's something that I know, that we're Nigerians for a purpose, right? We're going to change the narrative if we really are serious about it. Because I see a lot of talents. I see a lot of confidence. The people, when we go out of Nigeria, we're able to thrive even beyond our imaginations, and what's the limitations of wherever we're coming from are not allowing us to do. So I was able to then qualify as a leader based on my experience. As I said, I didn't go for promise, I went for leader, because I knew that at that point I'm not a spring chicken, that I'm quite a veteran in the tech industry. So in a nutshell, that's my story. I hope I was able to inspire one person or two people, and I'm open now to questions. And yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you, Buddy.
Thank you so much. I was also taking notes myself as I was listening to you. And then I have a few questions here already as well, but I'll just say to the audience, if you have a question, please just pop it in the chat, and then we'll get to the question as quickly as possible. If we do have time, we would also ask a few people to come on stage and ask questions. Please note that this is being recorded, and so please don't share anything you don't want to see on the internet or anything like that if you are asked to come on stage at any point during the event. However, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll get to them as quickly as possible. Funto, I think for some people in the audience, they are even just hearing about Technician Visa for the first time. I don't know if you could share with them what is the visa, how long is it, and all. I know, but I would like you to just share with the audience as well. And then why do people say it's like the gold standard in UK visa? Interesting.
I hope I will do justice to.
Yeah, you can just share from your own experience. Nothing.
Okay.
Our community is educated enough to know they need to go and search by themselves and go and get much information by themselves.
Okay. So Technician visa is for, it's supposed to be for the brightest people. So I consider myself one of the brightest people and best talents in the world. Yeah, so that's why I'm here. I'm one of the best people in the world. Yeah. To then work in the UK digital technology sector. And now there are two parts. There's the technical and there's the business. In terms of technical, we're talking about engineers, data analysts, data engineers, maybe product designers, people that do the coding and things like that. And then there's the business side of things. So that's where I qualify as a product manager. Also, maybe a digital marketing person, for example, will qualify as a business under, even though it's digital technology. And there are two types. There's the digital, there's the promise.
Yeah, and there's exceptional promise and exceptional talent.
Exceptional promise and exceptional talent. Now, exceptional promise is for people that are just starting out in their careers, maybe less than 5 years or even thereabout, between 2 and 5 years. But at least you have some experience, you've driven innovation, but you're still young and you have not spent a lot of time in that space. And for that, you're given a 5-year visa. The 5-year visa allows you to work for those 5 years. You can work anywhere. Your visa does not limit you to work in a particular company, but always just ensure that whatever job you do, whatever job you do is in alignment with the visa you have applied for. So you can't come in and say you're a product manager and then you start working as a business analyst or you start working as a chef. It will automatically eventually disqualify you. So it's something that you have to be sure that, okay, if I come in as a product manager, I can then get a job as product manager. I can grow and one day become maybe a chief product officer, a product leader, a product director. Those are things that, those are, for example, my own aspirations, right? So I was like a head of product when I was back home in Nigeria, but moving to the UK, I've had to kind of start again from the beginning. So I'm kind of like a product manager and working to become a senior product, then grow again, and then until I get up to that. So hopefully my growth shouldn't take too long because I have the experience, but also because the ways of working here are a bit different. There's so many things one needs to adapt to. And my own visa, which is the exceptional talent, is 3 years. Now, after 3 years, I can then apply for what they call indefinite leave to remain, right? Same with after 5 years for the 5-year visa. Before the 3 years up, I can start to process my indefinite leave to remain. And then you show evidences of having worked in that space. So things around maybe your tax, your income, your salary, your letter of employment, things like that, to show the evidence that you truly are contributing to the economy and also to the digital space in terms of the UK tech. And then after that, once you get your indefinite leave to remain, then the rest is history. You can then apply for your citizenship and then you become part of the system. So those are the goals, and that's in a nutshell is what the technician does. Mm-hmm. There's so much information, and it's very easy, very interesting to read. It's not boring. It's not hard. It's very easy, I must confess. Especially if you're interested in it, you will print it out, you will highlight, you will do this, you will do that. In fact, you'll be carrying it about you. Because
it will surprise you. I've been an immigrant coach for a little while now, over a year, and a lot of people don't like reading. So that's one of the things I found out, that even when you have a conversation to say, have you read the guide? Because I put the link of the guide on the chat for those that were asking, and it may take up to an hour to read that guide, but that guide actually has a lot of information. Right. And there's a lot of information on the public domain as well. It may get a bit confusing, which is why we're building Emigrate, for example, with coaches, with people like Funto, who are also able to share in terms of further guide and clarification. But you need to also do your own research as well around the visa. But Funto, did you plan from the 2019 that you already knew about the visa over like a 1 year to say, okay, I'm going to apply in 1 year, or who convinced you to apply eventually, or what was the thought process from your own perspective?
So I'll say that, first of all, I kind of knew that I had reached the peak of my career in Nigeria, and yet I didn't have that. I didn't feel that I was a product leader, right? So that was one of my driving forces. Then the economy, and then it was just everything all joined together. I'm like, you know what? I need to get out of here. That was just one of the things that I was thinking about. And I just saw things getting worse by the day, and I just didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And so I made up my mind that, you know what? Let me just do this thing. So I had heard about it, I said, in June of 2019. And I didn't submit my application. I didn't start actively doing anything until a year later, July 2020. That's when I actively started to then say. So it took me about almost a year, because I had a product manager Africa community platform, but I hadn't started doing mentoring. I hadn't started doing teaching in product schools per se. So I spent that time subconsciously just doing it, even though I had pushed aside the Tech Nation thing. And then something just said, Funto, go back and look at this thing again. You want to leave Nigeria. You really do want to. And you want to do it in the right way. So I said, okay. And now that's when I now printed it out. And then I now started saying, okay, let me even give this a shot. What are the gaps that I still have? And as I said, I engaged a consultant, I think towards August, after I'd put together everything in a way that I thought would be best. Unfortunately for me at that time, I also found someone that was also doing it at the same time I was. So we were both doing it together. He was doing his, I was doing mine. So we were exchanging ideas. Oh, Funto, did you put this? I didn't. What are we going to put for exceptional? What are we going to put for what have you gotten your letter? Is that person writing your letter for you? Things like that. So having somebody along with me on the journey was also helpful because it wasn't lonely for me. So it's always good when you have people of like minds, because that way you encourage each other. You have the same goals, and that also helps you guys to work towards that. So I would say that I kind of then said, you know what, by October, I want to submit this thing, right? And I remember that night I submitted. In fact, October 20 happened, the NSAS thing. And I remember I wept that night, that I don't want to be here anymore. I cried that night because it was so painful to see the number of people that were killed, even though they said they didn't kill people. But, that thing just hit me that, no. So I remember that they were also going to increase the price of the surcharge, the cost of the surcharge from £400 to £620. And that was already going to be a lot of money. I was like, gosh, I don't have this kind of money. So I called my consultant. I said, please, we need to submit this thing on this day because by 27th of October, they were going to increase the price from £400 to £620. Yeah. And I had to pay for 3 years because and then pay also for my daughter. So both of us together, I knew that I was just going to kill me to pay so much money. So, we worked together and made sure that we submitted it that night. I remember the website was down because they were trying to update the link because they were going to update the price on the 27th. So on the 26th at 9 p.m., both of us were refresh. She now said, Funto, call me back in 1 hour. In fact, I wanted to cry. I just hit refresh the last time and the thing I said, don't go anywhere. This thing is up. And then we spent like 2 hours updating, putting everything. So I'll say that roughly it took me, let's say, between July, August, September. So I became very, very serious about it around August. So August, September, October. So 2 months for me to prepare, make sure everything was intact. Then I submitted my document. And within 3 days, I was endorsed. 3 days, I was endorsed.
Congratulations.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Congratulations on that. I'll go to some questions in the chat. I will remind our audience again, if you have questions, please pop it in the chat. We have the presence of Funto, so we can make the best use of the time as well. So if you have any specific question, please ask. In the chat, okay, this one is for Bincom. It says, I'm currently in training session at Bincom Dev Center, hoping to get an internship role. That would be Bincom Academy that you are in. Then my question is, how long would it take to apply for Technician Promise after my internship? Usually we ask people to plan for about 2 years. So, but if you already 1 to 2 years really, but if you already have been doing some things in the past, those things may qualify that will reduce the time. But we think that 2 years is a long enough time for you to show track record, which is one of the key things. So you can't just say, oh, I started doing mentoring yesterday, or, oh, I joined something today and then I go and apply. No, you need to show a track record, and the requirements are clearly stated there. Funto, for example, even though she was exceptional talent, right? She also needed to have some things in her portfolio by the time she was applying. Funto, I'll throw this one to you. It says, as a front-end developer with 3 years experience, what are the requirements for this tech visa for developers? If you think about that, and then they can go read more.
Yeah. I mean, everything is in. If you go to that guide, as I said, if it's something you really want, you will actually go through that. That it's so clear, it's so straightforward. I mean, it's so straightforward. Well, basically, requirements will be things around, first of all, what have you contributed to? What products have you built that you've contributed to? And then you have to show things around your GitHub commits. I know some of them are private, but you have to find a way to show your Git commits. You have to show your also contribution outside of your work is important. How have you contributed? Maybe teaching other people. Maybe if you're, I don't know whether you're front end, back end, or full stack developer. Okay, you're front end. So front end developer, how are you mentoring other front end developers? I mean, are you part of an academy where you're teaching people? Those are the kind of things that you need to put together to build your portfolio. When you were in, as also because it's 3 years experience, obviously you still have maybe you just left school, maybe not too long ago. So things around your supervisor or whatever, giving you some referencing, your current workplace, you get references. But basically just showing how you've contributed to as an employee, first of all. What are your contributions? So some of the things I did as well to show, so some of the evidences I showed were things around my letters of promotion, for example. So I said, okay, so when I joined Konga, I joined as a program manager. And then within 18 months, I became head of product. And then I became VP of product. And I attributed this to the fact that it was because I was helping the company to improve on their portfolio and the product that we were building. And they could see the hard work, dedication, and just getting things done. So, yeah, as much evidences as you can. There's so many videos on YouTube about evidences. I even think you developers even have more resources than we product managers in terms of what you need to submit. So I would encourage you, Dari, to do your research, go online and just Google is your friend. Developers that have been gotten the exceptional talent visa. Videos, you can see a lot of videos. There are some trainings that you can even take to watch what they've done, I mean, how they've gone about it. So there's so many things that are available online. And of course, there's also Emigrate as well. That's why Bade is also there. He has a support system that can also help you to guide you in getting all your documents together. But you have 3 years experience. How many commits have you made? But what else have you done outside of where you currently work to contribute to the tech community?
Yeah, I would just say also that we've also had at least 2 developers on the technician visa come to Emigrate Open Day, and the videos of them speaking and sharing their own experience is also available for you to take a look at. In addition, you were asking about requirements, and as I mentioned earlier, there's a site where literally everything you need to know, even though it may not be as detailed as you want it to be, it may be a bit confusing sometimes and all of that, it's there. So go through that and read it. One thing I will mention is notice that a lot of emphasis is placed on things that you did outside your normal job, right? Outside your normal job, you have to do other things. Of course, you have to be working in tech. You need to show experience working in tech and all of that, but you need to show that outside your normal job, you were also contributing to the tech ecosystem as well. In terms of some of the skills that qualify, these are some of them that do qualify, both on the technical side of technology and on the business side of digital technology. These are some of them that do qualify. Something you should know is that consulting is one of the ones that they explicitly say that if you are involved with outsourcing or consultancy and all of those kind of things, they say that they don't want that. So if you find yourself working in those kinds of environment, you may also want to be doing some things by the side to show yourself that, oh, you can build product. That's part of the reason why we have things like Labs by Bincom, where you can build real life products that real life people are using as well. You can also, for people that, if you are considering job offers and all of that, this may also inform the offer that you pick over another offer that you pick, even if the money is slightly less and all of that, because if you know what is required of you, you can plan your career over a 1 year to 2 year period for you to qualify. If you are just starting out in the field of technology, it may be slightly longer if you're already highly experienced, but you are not doing some of the key things that were required of you in the first place. But you find that many people have been doing some of these things before. The question is that, do they count, and do you even understand what is required of you at all? Funto, another question here is, a project manager has managed IT projects. I'm not too technically inclined, so I don't code and the rest. Can I qualify for this scheme? I also find out that I've informally mentored people wanting or less experience in project management. So pretty much a project manager, done a bunch of IT projects, wondering, can I qualify for this this technician visa? What are your thoughts?
Yes, you can, right? You just have to show evidence of how you've contributed to that project, the projects that you've worked on, really, and how you ensure that you're able to lead into delivery of big time projects. You don't have to have, I don't code as well. So I all I had was I had knowledge in technology, working in the tech space, understanding how to build digital products. And as a project manager, delivery, you're helping to aid delivery. So I think here they're called delivery managers. Most especially when you're working on IT projects, you support the delivery team or the team of product managers and engineers to ensure that they deliver a workable or a working product, a prototype. So I think that you just need to kind of reward what you do to kind of suit that. You tweak it in such a way that it forms into one of the things that the list of jobs that they've listed. Because what I've also noticed as well is that in as much as they've put all those things on their website, you have to follow it to the letter, kind of. So that list that Buddy just showed us now, where he had all the things. I don't know if you can show us your screen again, Buddy. Where
Yeah,
he showed us.
I'm trying to share that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So here, for example, you have to understand where do I fall here? Even though they put examples, but trust me, this is what they're looking at. They will now tick, where do you fit into here? So you have to find a way to put what you're doing into these roles somehow, right? So I'm trying to even see where project manager will kind of fit into.
There will be product manager in this. Though, I mean, they do
No,
say
it's
that,
different. They're totally
they do
different.
say that this is not an exhaustive list, but
Yes.
by the time you come to your application itself, there's
Yeah.
a drop down where you
I think we've lost Buddy. Can you still hear me though? Can people hear me? Please say yes if you can hear me. Okay, so Buddy's internet is the problem. Okay. Okay, so while we wait for Buddy to get back. So for that kind of role, for example, you have experience of expanding or growing a significant product-led digital technology business. So that's a way you can coin what you currently do. So you're helping to deliver products in a significant product-led organization. We've lost him, I guess, so he'll probably sign back in. Yeah, so that basically, Buddy.
Yeah, apologies. I got disconnected briefly there.
Sorry about that. Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I've lost the questions. I'm not sure if there was any other question in the chat. But I have a different question for you, Funto. Also, if you would like to come on stage to ask a question, we'll only have time to take one of those. You can switch on your camera and then raise your hand using the raise hand feature in Zoom. And then I can invite you up stage to ask your question as well. We can't spotlight you if your camera is not on. So you need to have your camera on and then also raise your hand in Zoom. So we know that you would like to come on stage at this point. Fonta, I would like to ask around, I understand you were, from what you shared, you were contributing to things like product school, you were invited to conferences and so on. How did that happen? Were there things that people can do today so that in a year's time, they can be invited to such conferences or at least start from somewhere? I don't know if you could advise the community around that to see how do they build their recognition, public artifact, speaking at conferences, being invited to mentor and things like that.
Yes, you can invite yourself. honestly. So,
How
for
do
example, one of the product schools, I approached them myself and said, I want to come and teach in your school. That was, I invited myself, Utiva Product School, and they accepted me. And in order for the other one, speaking at tech events, so first of all, I had my own platform, so I could speak on my platform. That was one thing. Then Tech Plus, I was able to convince my manager in my former workplace that we should be one of the people that would speak at the events just to talk about where I work. And because my organization was in Kano and I was the only one based out of Lagos, it was easy for me to say, let me go and represent eHealth and speak at the event. So that was another way I convinced myself, and I was able to actually go in there and speak on stage. So I guess you create your stage yourself, first of all. Look around you. What are the communities that are doing what you also do? Reach out to them yourself that, oh, do you need more volunteers? Do you need more people? I'm willing, I'm available, even if it's at no price. I don't mind. I just want to give back. You know what you're trying to achieve, right? I mean, at the same time, it's also something that you enjoy doing. So you're not just doing it. I enjoy, maybe because my dad is a professor. I don't know. I just enjoy lecturing and teaching and just talking. So it was not a big deal for me to actually teach in product schools. I just enjoyed it. So find that thing that you also enjoy doing, because that way you're able to just do it joyfully as well. But I would advise you to just reach out, research who are people doing what you do, and do they have communities? Should I even start my own community? If there's nothing like that, you can start from there. I remember my first meetup, we were just about 6 of us, and now we're about 3,000. But that's just how it is. Now, right. You just have to start, no matter how small it is. And before you know it, it'll be become so big. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll just we've gone over time. I don't know if we can have an extra 10-15 minutes because I think I still have a bunch of questions for you, Funto. But let's look at the application process itself, because I know some members of the community and some on this call at this moment, they are trying to apply. So I know you mentioned around that you didn't want your manager to know you were applying. And how easy is that, considering that? How do you get recommendation and all of that? When did you need a letter from your current place of work, or how did you navigate that specifically? And then more important, how did you manage your manager not knowing you were applying?
You know, the amazing thing, there was one day I went to the printer in the office, and I saw that my manager, who is the CIO, was also giving somebody else a recommendation for the technician visa. So I said, hey, so people can do for other people. Now that I'm leaving, I'm not happy I'm leaving. By that time I had resigned, or I was about to tell them I was leaving. But of course, you can't tell them you want to go, because first of all, they won't be happy that you're leaving, except you have a boss that is really supportive. Honestly, I don't know. If, for example, it was my boss that I had in Konga, and I was still in Konga when I was applying, I could have told him that I need a letter. This is what I'm doing. Because I know he has my best interest at heart, right? So there are people that you can tell, and there are people that you just can't tell. And that's just it. Based on your relationship with whoever you are working with, you will know who to approach and who not to approach. So even when I was drawing up my list of leaders, it never even came up in on my list that I was going to talk to them. And it's not because of anything, but because I know that they will not be happy that I'm leaving. And I didn't want anybody to make me feel even more guilty and even feel more, because it took me a long time before I could tell them I was leaving. It took me a long time. I couldn't even break the news to them for a long time. It was quite, yeah. I remember I just told one of my colleagues that, I've gotten this thing, but I don't know how I'm going to tell my bosses. He said, you have to tell them. So eventually I was able to tell them, and they were not happy with me at all. So, but I mean, it's a decision that I had to make also for myself.
For your career as well.
Exactly.
And for your family as well, I guess.
Exactly. And for my family. Exactly.
Interesting. So in terms of the application, I know you've sort of given us, the breakdown of it, but I just wanted to make sure that, the people listening are also picking up that. What criteria did you apply on that? I know leading talent was compulsory. And then did you do continuous learning?
Okay. So I did evidence of recognition outside my work.
Okay.
So what I did was that how I contributed to the furtherance of product management in Africa by creating an interest group, Product Manager Africa.
Okay.
So I talked about in the evidence, I showed things around the communities I had, the people I had on LinkedIn, my Twitter. So I put the link. I said LinkedIn, the URL, the number of followers, Twitter, the URL, Meetup, the number of meeters they follow up. Then I put pictures to show evidence. Then I put Slack that they could have access to. I even gave them the WhatsApp as well. I put the images of everything, right? I did all that. So that was one thing I did. Then another thing I did to show evidence again was what I had done outside my immediate occupation again was how I had created a mentoring platform referred to Growth Incubator. I placed people in companies to work. So what I did was I showed them evidence of how it was in the newspaper. I put the URL to the newspaper. I also put a snapshot, captured the image. It was in the Nation and also in the Vanguard Online. And then I also put there the flyer that I had created saying that great news, we're launching the first in this PM Africa initiative to allow you to be mentored and I put it there. Then I talked about what it meant, what we were going to do, how it was going to be. Then I also showed them my Trello board. Okay, these are the things that I'm doing. This is the projects that we'll be doing, projects in progress. This is what we're going to do by July, what we're going to do by August. Then I also put the Slack channel. I put the number of people that were in the first cohort. I put it there. So right now I'm on the second cohort, but just showing you. Then I also showed training in the faculty, for example, how I contributed to training in the faculty. So I put the school I was training at UTIVA. I put the link there about how many members were there. And then I was on their website. I put a picture of myself on their website. I put the letter of invitation. I copied and pasted the letter of invitation from Eitayo. That's the CEO. Dear Funto, it was nice talking to you. We're happy to have you engaged in our faculty. I put everything there. Then I also had a letter of thank you on behalf of UTIVA. We want to thank you for your contribution in teaching us on product leadership and agile execution. Then I also put another one again where I trained, Dufuna School. I also put the Twitter because they had funding. We got funding from the UK Nigeria Tech Hub. In fact, the money was quite a lot. And I got quite a lot of money from this particular training, which was really great. And then I got the letter of invitation as well from the CEO of Dufuna. Then I talked about how I spoke at events. I was a moderator at the Tech Plus event. I talked about that. I put a picture of myself on stage. I put the link to the YouTube channel. I had to be very deliberate. I went to their website. I looked for myself there. I put the screen grab of myself so that they could see it. And then there was also the infographic of the number of people that attended the event. I asked because there was nothing on their website. So I remember I had to send an email to Tech Plus, the organizers, and say, please, how many people attended that event? Can I have a screen grab? So they sent me the infographic. So I just posted it and I pasted it there. Then I also, the people there's this product school again called Product Dive. I was also a speaker there. I went to their Twitter. I went to their LinkedIn page. I went to their website. I did everything. And I put a picture of myself as a guest speaker on their platform. I put it there. Then in terms of as an employee, I told you guys that I said I had worked with eHealth as a product manager. So I talked about how eHealth was one of the biggest companies. It's funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We participated in a Conbot award. I got the third prize. We were awarded this was what. So I talked about what the product was all about. How I talked about the tasks. What was the problem statement? What was my responsibility? What was the impact? Then I also got a letter from my former boss saying that Funto contributed to this project and she did this. I did that for eHealth, Venture Garden Group, also for Conga, as well. So, and then what I also did was to now make sure that I also talked about how I was promoted. So I had my letters luckily for me, most of my letters are online. I normally scan and just put them on. So please also form that habit, because you may misplace your letters of employment, for example, but everything is online. I scanned everything and I just put it in my Google Drive. So I was able to easily access it. All I just did was just lift those letters and put it there. And that was basically all I did, submitted. And then the 3 letters of
who were your recommenders? I mean, you don't have to mention their names, but did you have to build relationships over time, or were these relationships you already had? Could you describe them in terms of relation to how they knew your work? Were they all saying the same thing about you, or they were saying slightly different perspective about you?
So yes, so I had relationships with them, fortunately for me. I had worked with 2 of them directly. 2 of them were my direct bosses. The CIO, when I was in Conga, it wasn't my direct boss. I was reporting to the director of product, who was reporting to the CIO. Then I was reporting to the CEO, also at Venture Garden Group. So I had a relationship with him. He was my direct line manager. Then the third reference, or the third referee, was actually someone that had known my friend, but we also had a relationship because we had done things together. So he knew my capabilities, he knew my strengths. We've known each other since we were children, since we were young. But he's a venture capitalist, he's doing well. And then one of the things I also made sure that they were credible people. These are people that had schooled in Cranfield, they had gone to Stanford, people that were
talents, leaders in their own right.
Exactly. So I was also very, very deliberate about that, in ensuring that the people I got were people that would not hesitate. There's some people that you're like, well, I don't know if I can give you that letter. I didn't get that at all.
Yeah,
I'll give you the letter, and that was it. So.
Yeah. And it's also important that these people know your work. So you can't just go and find the friend of your friend's father to come and write a letter for you. Those kinds of things get rejected because whoever is your recommender must know your work, and they have to actually describe how they know your work as part of their recommendation letter. I was hoping at least one person will come on stage to ask questions, but it looks like the community is shy today. And so I will just ask one of my last few questions for this today's session, which is, Funto, could you speak to the different members of our community? And I will describe them. There are actually 5 categories now that we've decided to speak to, one by one, to make sure that everyone that attended this got something based on their category. So the first 3 would be someone that has not even started their journey in tech at all. Beginner, 0 years experience, a couple of months, doing their first Bincom Academy training, like somebody that asked the question before. What should they be doing now? What would you advise them to do, particularly in this context of tech-enabled visas? Then we have people who are intermediate level. They have 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years experience in tech. They are building their career, and they are looking at, okay, what are my next steps? Then we have people who are advanced level, 10 years experience, 15 years experience, head of IT somewhere, CIO somewhere, and so on. And they too are interested now to figure out, okay, what opportunities are outside the shores of my own country? And so what would you advise them as well? So let me start with those 3 categories first before I move on to the other 2. So beginner, intermediate, and then advanced level skills and experience.
Okay. So for beginners, I think that first of all, it's a good thing that you've started to build your profile. And I would encourage you, first of all, to create some form of maybe a spreadsheet or a Trello board and just list all the criteria. And then start ticking off, I have this, I don't have this, I have this, I have this. And then decide on yourself, okay, for this criteria, how long should it take me to get there? Or how long do I want to spend to get to that, to reach that goal where I can say, I can check this? and then you go after one after the other. Don't be in a hurry. If you are, maybe if you had 15, 20 years experience, I can say you can give yourself 1 week or 1 month. I know somebody that reached out to me 2 weeks ago and he's going to apply this week or next week. He's just going to use, I know somebody that took him 1 week and he got it as well, right? But for some people, you can't do that. You have to build your profile. And for people like that don't have profiles yet, please build your profiles. Build them in such a solid way that you can boast and talk about it anywhere, because it's also your profile. It's not somebody else's profile. It's your work. It's your own hard work. So there's always, I'm also learning it myself, but the best thing for me, for my best advice to you is get all the things that you need to do to get to that point where you can be endorsed. Identify the gaps. For example, Emigrate is helping you to get the experience. After the experience, or even as you're doing the experience now, are there things you can now start to do to mentor other people? Do you want to start recording YouTube videos or TikTok videos talking about, how do you code, or how do you use JavaScript? Just something, is a short clip, generate views, get people to start to talk about you. This person is talking about this. I'm not a very good person to say I want to start talking, but I think the younger people, they have that thing where they just go online and they can just talk. And I see my daughter always doing stuff and I'm like, gosh, I can't do it. People are different. But I think the younger ones, you have the opportunity now, grab it, hold on to it and do it. And so that would be my advice. Don't be in a hurry. I know that everybody is tired of the way the country is, but if you want to get it right, don't be despondent. Don't be sad that, oh my gosh, I wish I had started this 2 years ago. It's better late than never. So it's just your journey, but give yourself time. You can put together a project plan. You can get someone within Emigrate, for example, and say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. These are the things I need to achieve. How do I achieve them? So I think that in that way, you can then get to that point and then you have enough confidence to then apply. For people in their mid-careers, you're already working, but all the work you've been doing now, do you have evidences for everything you've worked on? Can you start putting it together? What are still the areas that I need to improve on to show that I'm actually a tech talent? Yeah. What are those things? At this point, you have already built relationships. You already start having ideas of people that can give you letters. Because for beginners, there's nobody that will really give you a letter. Nobody knows you, right? But for people that are in the mid-careers, so you can apply for exceptional talent. You are already there. But are you mentoring? Are you contributing outside your
day-to-day work?
Exactly. Are you speaking at events? Are you putting, so even if, are you generating, do you have videos of things you work on, things like that. So I know that also is something that you can do. Then, of course, for those that are in their 15 years, people like me up there, I spent 2 months or thereabouts. So as I said, somebody I know spent a month. Another person I know 1 week. Somebody else I spoke to last week, he said, Funto, and submitting it next week. Just help me to look at this. We talked about it for like 30 minutes. We had a call just last week. I'm going to even follow it. Now that I remember, I'll follow up with him and say, how far have you submitted? So, and for those that are experienced, just be strategic. I mean, you're already doing strategy. Just gather all your evidences. And if you are not as thorough as me in terms of dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, get someone like Emigrate. They will help you to then perfect your documentation, and then you can submit. So that's the advice I have for those 3 groups of people. I hope that has helped 1 or 2 people.
Hopefully it has. And I think you've also spoken to the fourth category, because the fourth category will have been people that are ready to apply. And then what are some of the things that they should be doing? And I think you've spoken to a second, but maybe if you want to add some more to that. Fifth category are people in different countries of the world, but let's speak about UK. They are on student visa or the post-study visa. There's no pathway to ILR. And so to a large extent, they have like a countdown of if I don't get work sponsorship and all of those kind of things. So there's a countdown on their head, basically. I don't know if there's any advice you can give to them as well. So two categories would be ready to apply. What should they be doing around packaging the application and stuff like that? And then students and people are not on a pathway to settlement. What can they do?
Yeah. So for people that are ready to submit, perfect your personal statement. Work on it really well. Make sure that your statement is so personally, it kind of invokes some emotional, so it's not an emotional blackmail thing, but you have to kind of put your personal life into it somehow. That's why I said it's always personal to the person, so that you appeal to that person. So make sure that it's not what word am I looking for? It's not so rigid, because there is also human beings that will be reading it, and you want to appeal to the emotions. Also ensure that you check your grammatical, in terms of writing, whatever you're writing, make sure that your grammar is 100% correct, because they are sending it to English speakers. And they expect that, I mean, from Nigeria, we are an English-speaking country, so make sure that everything you're submitting is properly written, well-written, coherent, easy to digest, straightforward, not too wordy. Also, put as many pictures as you can. Pictures speak a lot of words. Screenshots took more than half of my 3-page document. Make sure that documents are no more than 3 pages each. Get somebody else to help to proofread them, someone that has your time. Don't give it to your cousin or your friend. You can give it to somebody you're paying, because if you're not paying that person, they will just look at it anyhow. Get someone that you can pay. If you need someone to help you to double check, triple check, quadruple check what you're doing. And I think that's one of the things Bade and his team are doing as well. Get somebody to review it with you, and then you can submit. And on the day you're submitting, make sure your internet is working, right? Make sure you have perfect internet, because you don't want the situation where at the point of submission, NEPA will just take light, or your internet modem will switch off, or something ridiculous like that. So just make sure you have.
As a village people.
Just make sure you have like 3 sources of internet on that day, whatever it is, you can easily back up and move to your backup. So that's for that group of people. Then for the people that are student visa, they don't have any pathway to indefinite leave to remain, you have to switch to technician quickly as well. And it's still the same process. You are working in the UK, that's even better for you. You already have UK work experience. You can get references from your current employers, if you like, or your previous employers. You can get letters from your university where you did your master's or first degree, whatever you went to do. But just do it quickly as well, because there's also a time frame in which you, if you need to return back home. But it's still the same process. It's just that this time around, you're submitting it within the UK. And I think it's another pathway. But you have to follow the instructions, really. You
to get the same endorsement using the same criteria as well, I believe.
Exactly. But it's just that some people are within the UK, some people are outside the UK. So maybe there's some things you don't need to maybe pay for. I don't know. I can't remember. Because that was in my pathway. But as I said, for your own pathway, you have to read very well, read the instructions and follow them verbatim. It's important. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Funto. Our time is fast spent, and I would just like to share a few things with our audience, and then we will switch over for you to just share your final word with the community, at least for this session. So thank you again. For those that joined us a little later, this has been Emigrate Open Day. It's one of the services of Emigrate. An Emigrate community basically is focusing on helping you become globally attractive. We believe that the different visa opportunities are just a side effect of something bigger which is the fact that if you are globally attractive everywhere in the world, they want you to come to them and come and add value to their economy as well, particularly for the Technician visa. If you need help with something like your visa endorsement application, you can talk to us. We do 10 minutes for free. And so if you are, if it's something that can be done under 10 minutes and all of that, if you need someone to take a second look at what you're trying to submit and things like that, all of that is available to you within the community. Funto also mentioned that she had a friend that she was working with who was also already ready to apply. This is part of what the Emigrate Circle is building, community of other people who are like-minded and who are people who are also on the same pathway as you. If you also need a roadmap to say, oh, fine, I know I don't qualify today, but I've seen the question paper and answer sheet, and I know that this is what my profile must look like within the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, depending on where you are in your career specifically, then we can help with that as well within the Emigrate community, helping you with the roadmap, helping you follow up, literally coaching you towards these things that you have said by yourself that I'm interested in and I want to be part of. If you were rejected in terms of your endorsement application and you need an endorsement review, we can help with that as well as part of the services that we run within the Emigrate as well. So you can have a self-directed roadmap, or we can help you with a roadmap that we would be monitoring ourselves as well. We do a lot of things for free, as I said earlier, and we do have some premium offerings as well that you may be interested in. The open days are always free, and we always bring different Emigrate guests and some coaches. From next year, we'll have many more coaches coming on this platform as well, who are able to share with you their journey, and more important, also give you advice about your own journey as well. We also do short inquiry sessions limited to 10 minutes per person for now. And so we ask that please do all your research before you now ask for that 10-minute session. So don't come and ask questions that are already in public domain or that you could have read, because you only get one of those sessions free. If you need that type of session again, you would have to pay for it under the guise of either Emigrate Circle or any of the other paid or premium offering that we have available. We have personalized consultation and coaching session, 30 minutes to 1 hour. We have the standard package where we help with reviews and introductions and so on. Funto mentioned things like being in the newspaper, for example. The introductions we can make around that as well, who may be interested in speaking with you, not because you are trying to form that you're exceptional, but because you're exceptional and they are interested in putting you on national newspaper and things like that. Emigrate community currently is on WhatsApp and Telegram. We open it up from time to time for you to ask questions and make use of it. We have different coaches on those platforms that are able to answer the question. And we're also going to be launching on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. We ask you to please share this information with other people as well. We are not asking them to come pay for anything. A lot of the things people need to get started is for free. But listen to one of the things our guest today said, which is the fact that she found out about the visa in 2019. She didn't apply until 2020. Between that time, there were things that she was doing, not because she was trying to qualify for the visa, because she was already qualified, because she needed to be able to convince assessors that she was qualified for this visa. Within Bincom Dev Center, we also have many other services that may be interesting to you. With the Bincom Global Tech Program, it's a 1 to 2 year program package to help you qualify for this kind of opportunity. But aside from the visa, you can also qualify for remote jobs abroad. You can also qualify easily for roles within Nigeria particularly. And many of these will be in recruiters looking for you, daunting you. Funto will probably share with you how the fact that different recruiters are always reaching out to her and so on, right? Because you have the right combination of experience, skill, and exposure. If you don't have that right combination, you would not be sought after. And that is what this program helps you to do over a 1 to 2 year period. Please, it's a paid program. However, the company also says that we can allow you to learn tech now because we want to take a bet on you and on your career, and then you only pay later. It costs 1.2 million naira. However, you can pay that after you start earning a high-paying role within the space of technology. I should also mention that if you are in the category where you have the skill, but then you don't have real-life experience, you don't have the real-life exposure needed, this program is also for you, because you can start at the intermediate level of the program where it focuses you on getting the right experience for what you need to be able to get your next level and your next role. If you already highly experienced in the field of technology, one of the ways you can show yourself as exceptional is mentoring other people, as our guest also shared as well. And we have a mentoring platform within Bincom, which you can use as part of this pathway and for mentoring other people. One of the things said within for the TechNation visa is that it has to be a formal mentoring platform. And this is what the Bincom mentoring platform does for you. And it's available to you. You can register with the link on the screen, and it would also be shared in other forums. Also, if you are in consulting, for example, I saw a question around that, but you should really go and read more of the criteria yourself. It looks like you're hearing some of these things for the first time. But if you're in consult, we have Labs by Bincom, which helps you to build a product-led digital technology company with a team. And what that does for you is that you start getting the right exposure even on your career in terms of examples of innovation that you can show even for application for the TechNation visa. But we don't want you to do it because you are planning to apply for a visa. No, we want you to do it because you want to gain the right experience and the right exposure at that level. And what Labs by Bincom does is it brings you together with a few other people who are also interested, who have different skills, cross-functional team, and also you might come with skills of digital marketing, but there are other skills you would have to learn as well as part of this process. We would also invite you to some of our other community events within the Bincom Dev Center. Emigrate focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities. However, we do have other things that we do. One of those event series around our community event is the Bincom Tech Career Path Deep Dive series. We'll be speaking with Dele Odusonya on November 20, and we'll be speaking around becoming a quality assurance stroke automation test engineer. This is one of the highly sought after skill, and the facilitator will be taking you through what you need at every stage, beginner stage, intermediate stage, even at experience stage where you want to get to the next level and so on. The facilitator will be sharing with you with a drilling down into that. We also have a similar event for becoming a full stack software developer that will be happening next weekend as well. So these are some of the events we do within the Bincom ecosystem that may interest you. And also bear in mind the things that has been said during today's session. Please bear them in mind. One of them being the fact that these opportunities are available to you, and we hope that you make the best use of it. Funto, before your final word, I see someone raising their hand, but our time is fast spent. For the experienced professional, what kind of external work can one use? Can I start a YouTube channel and run it for a month or two before applying? No, you cannot just start it. You need to show a track record of being exceptional over a period of time. So one of the things you probably want to do is take a look at the things that you have been doing in the past. If you've not been doing anything and all you've just been doing has been just go to your regular work and not doing anything, you can apply in the next 2 months. But now that you know about this opportunity, you can plan to apply in 6 months, in 1 year, in maybe even not up to 2 years anyway, because even for promise, you don't need up to 2 years for you to be able to qualify if you do the right things. If you need guidance and all of that, we do have some of the Emigrate services, some free, some that are premium that can also guide you and coach you towards what you need. But please don't start this YouTube channel because you want to qualify in 1 month or 2 months. Funto was already doing stuff. And note that by the time she applied, she only had 1,000 people on her channel or 1.5, but now they've grown to 3,000, meaning that even though she has already gotten the visa, she's still building her profile, she's still building her career, and she's still giving back to the ecosystem. This is what is needed of you. We don't want you to pretend to be exceptional. We want you to be exceptional. Then you have options. And one of the options is the visa. Right. And Funto, I don't know if you have some last words to share with the community before we call it a day for today's edition.
Yeah, I guess you've kind of said it all. Don't rush these things. Give yourself time, because you don't want to spend, it's quite painful when you don't get the visa. And you would just bite yourself and say, I wish I had just spent more time being more patient. So there's no hurry. Just do it well. Don't rush and say you want to start a YouTube channel and run it for a month before you apply. Just show some level of consistency. YouTube is not just enough. Other people that are trying to help, or I've seen people, for example, who just give back to the community. They just started, maybe they started coding school in slums. Those are ways you're giving back. It doesn't have to be everything. And of course, you can then have pictures. Of course, newspapers will talk about it, So, but you have to know where your passion lies. You just don't do things for the sake of it, but you can think around and just think outside the box and say, how can I give back? How can I at least help other people, to be a part of this thing? How can I help other people to upskill? So that would be my final word. And I wish everyone all the best. I hope it works out for as many people as are here also wanting to get this visa. I hope it comes through for you all, and just do all the necessary things that you need to do and be strategic about it, just because you're not the only ones doing it. People are doing it in India, in America, in Japan, Hong Kong, Chinese, they're all doing it, and other African countries. So yeah, all the best. All the best.
Thank you so much, Funto. And from me, I would just say that from an immigrant community perspective, aside from the UK, we focus on the US, Canada, France. With Canada, there's a startup visa. In France, there's a French tech visa. UK has the UK Global Talent Visa. UK has the startup visa. That doesn't have a pathway to settlement, but then you can transit to the innovator visa, but that also requires you to meet some criteria. The key point is that there are opportunities out there that is available. The question is that, are you keeping yourself up to date of what these opportunities entail, what they require of you today, what they require of you by the point in time when you will be applying for those opportunities. They are different for different countries. Last edition, we were speaking to someone in Germany who were talking to us about some of the German visa specific to software developers. And we've spoken with different guests within the immigrant community who have had one visa type or the other. But the key point is that, are you going to take action? Are you just going to listen to all this that has been shared with you, or are you going to take action? Starting with you doing your own research, starting with you asking for help if you need it, starting with you getting as much information as possible. A lot of the things you need to start is free, but then there may be things that you need to pay for as well. But the question is, are you even going to have a game plan? Because that's part of what we're hoping you get out of today's edition. Thank you so much. The immigrant community will be open, sure, till 12 noon tomorrow at the very least. And so if you have additional questions and things like that, you can ask in the community. Please, we've posted the link to the video for this edition on the chat. Copy the link now. The videos to Emigrate editions, Emigrate Open Day editions, are usually only made available to members of Emigrate Circle, who are the people who are more serious around the fact that they are ready to take this pathway and take the the tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. But the video link is made available to you at this point, so copy it. You can share it with friends. You can also tell them about these opportunities that, I just found out about something today. I think you should find out about it as well. But yeah, that being said, thank you so much for joining us today. Funto, thank you so much also for honoring us with your time today. And Thank you. We can't say thank you enough for that. And thank you for sharing your journey as well. Some people choose not to, but you chose to share your journey. And thank you for doing that. And we just pray that our community is listening, and we pray that our community would actually take action. With that being said, thank you, everyone, and good night.